What's up? It's Penuel, the black pen. This Penuel, the swart pen. So Penuel, pen. First and foremost, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who tuned in or who have tuned in to watch my sit down with Dr. Umar Ifatunde, previously known as Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan-Africanism. An African American, he identifies as an American African, a black American, who was in South Africa recently to come and speak, engage with people. International Africa Week, I think, is what Ukuguletu Kaba, who is the host and who is the person that brought him here in conjunction and collaboration with Umama that I've worked with many years ago, my spiritual mother, Umama Uzanele Ntuli, and an entire team that helped bring him here, took him to Soweto, took him to Winnie Mandela House to meet with Julius Malema, the leader of the EFF, took him to visit schools, and he was at Davidton where Umfundisi there, Ubabus Tole, very graciously hosted us to be able to have Dr. Umar Ifatunde there at the Oasis, I think, Life Church or Bible Church in Davidton. And everyone else was involved. We had many different speakers, including my brother Rutendo Matinyarare from Zimbabwe, and anyone who has donated. And look, if you haven't donated, maybe I can get you links. I'm going to put the website of the organizers in the description, and I'm going to make sure that anyone who can maybe speak to me directly, you can send the money to me, and I will very transparently send the money over to the organizers to thank them for bringing Dr. Umar Ifatunde here, and then for to also inspire them to be able to do more work moving forward. I thank you so much. It's been a couple of months that people have been saying that Dr. Umar Ifatunde is coming to South Africa, and many people who are fans of the Penuel show, many people who are fans of Penuel, the Black Pen, the work I've done with DJ Spoo on the Hustlers Corner and the Virtual Mkuku, are like, if there's one person we want to sit down with Dr. Umar, it's you, Black Pen. So your prayers, your thoughts, your wishes came to fruition, and I thank you. I believe in energy, I believe in the power of the universe and nature, and I believe it is because you guys prayed and wanted this so badly that it happened. I don't even think I was necessarily meant to sit with him, but the universe does what it does, and you guys pushed it in the right direction, and I appreciate that very much. Mamzanele Ntuli, like I said, I've worked with her many years ago under our employer, who's my mentor and my good friend and brother, Uvuyo Jack, who gave me my first job at Africa Empowered. I got to meet Mamzanele Ntuli and so many other amazing people that we worked with at the time. I'm making this video, of course, to thank you, to challenge you to please rise in your activism. I think that was one of the major things Dr. Umar raised, that being a Pan-Africanist is not about calling yourself whatever funny African name. It's not about how you dress and the hats you wear and the food you eat. It is about the work that you're doing. And he was big on what institution are you building or are you helping build to re-engineer and rewire the thinking of the African child. And we touched on a lot of things. I want to speak a little bit about the sit down, and then I want to speak about myself and some of my thoughts around Dr. Umar Johnson and his message. First and foremost, I want to thank Tibucho Kibine, who is in charge of Tribal Media House, the guys that I work with there, Khomutso, Sizwe, Q, Yenzi, Buipilo, Easy. You guys know yourselves. Thank you so much for the work that we continue to do at the Penuel show that is transformative, that is liberating minds, that is connecting people from all walks of life. Business people, politicians, celebrities, ordinary human beings, entrepreneurs, black, white, colored. We need to get some Indian people in. We're getting local people, we're getting Africans, we're getting people that are international. I appreciate all the work I do with you guys, and please know that I never ever take it for granted. I need to give a special shout out to Justice Shabalala that I've worked with DJ Spoo on the Hustlers Corner and the Virtual Mkuku. I need to give a shout out to Sia Mangena at Amped, and Utumi and Utabang and Uslim that I work with at Amped as well. But in particular for this, it is the guys at Tribal Media House. I appreciate you guys very much and thank you. It was my first time meeting Dr. Umar in Davidton when we spoke. And when I had him on the Penuel show, I did not have much time because he was on a very tight and busy schedule. So I was limited. And I apologize for that. It is just the nature of someone who is traveling. I only had about an hour to sit with him. And in that hour, I had to decide if I want to have a normal black pen conversation or if I'm going to do an interview and maybe just pick out some of the more important things, not for myself, but mostly for the audience, in particular Black South Africans, Black Africans, and other Pan-Africanists who are fans of Dr. Umar Ifatunde. So I tried to ensure that the questions that I asked were in line with some of the concerns and issues that people have wondered about. What is Pan-Africanism? What does that actually mean? Are all Black people our friends? Are all non-Black people our enemies? What's happening with the school that is built, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Institute? How has his trip been in South Africa? How does he feel about interracial dating marriages? White women that we call snow bunnies, or that he calls snow bunnies. The history, of course, of the Black man, the struggles of the Black man, the issues of the Black family, the Black man, the Black woman, how we raise better children, etc. So I needed to make sure that I raised that. In particular, the story of Mandarin in South Africa. For people that don't know, and I said this on the conversation, in 2016, an article was released where the Minister of Basic Education, Umamu Enji Motsikga, said they would like to introduce Mandarin, which is Chinese, in 500 schools in South Africa as a second additional language. To date, I don't know how much work they've done, but at the time there were 15 schools that were teaching Mandarin as a second additional language in South Africa. Dr. Umar Johnson, whether he read the article or someone informed him, then went and said they are now bringing Mandarin or Chinese into South African schools. The Chinese are coming to colonize South Africa. And a lot of people lost their minds. What is he talking about? It's crazy. And that's the context. And I asked him that for the benefit of many people, like, but this guy's a liar. He said we're studying Chinese so that he could clarify, and so that I could also clarify for the people that were not aware. How far is that project? I don't know. Is the South African government, to the ANC, still looking to bring in Mandarin? Why are we negative to Mandarin? That's a conversation. It would be a nice conversation to have with him and other people. We are so comfortable speaking English, which was brought on by the British colonizers. But why do we have an issue with Mandarin if it can be proven that speaking Mandarin will help us have better economic trade deals with Asia? Should we be learning Russian so that we can trade with the Russian people with more favorable deals than we get from the USA, from the United Kingdom and Europe? Should we be learning German? Germany is the second or third largest economy in the world. Should we be learning Japanese, another big economy? Should we be learning other languages? In South Africa, a big chunk of the economy is run by the Afrikaner nation. Should we be speaking Afrikaans? Kom ons praat Afrikaans met die Afrikaner boere mense sodat ons kan besigheid, run. Are we running? Should we be running business with Afrikaans people? Becomes another conversation, but we had limited time and I could not engage in some of those things because it would have chowed time to ask so many of the other questions. And I could not necessarily share a lot of my views. I saw one of the comments saying things like, I'm struggling with the concept. It's funny because a lot of people don't know me. You guys probably just know me from last year when I started being seen with DJ Spoo on the Hustler's Corner, making a lot of dope content online. But guys, I'm 37 years old. I've been in this planet for a minute. I've read a lot of books. I've met a lot of amazing, interesting, dope human beings. And I've gone through my own phases of progression and development. At some point, I was very pro-Black. I was very Pan-African. At some point, I founded the Buy Black movement to try and copy and emulate the work that has been done by kosher and the Jewish community, work that has been done by halal and the Muslim community. I was saying if Black people can have their own Buy Black sticker, sign, consciousness, that will help uplift and empower the Black nation. I've read up on Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass. I understand the work of Malcolm X, Prophet Elijah Muhammad. I understand the Nation of Islam and Minister Louis Farrakhan. I know the work in South Africa by people of Black consciousness, Stephen Bantu Biko, Robert Mangaliso Sobugo of the PAC. I understand the stories of Chris Hani, who is actually Martin Tembisileani. Chris is actually not his name. His name is Martin Tembisileani, but he used the name Chris, which I think is his brother's name, to kind of hide from the apartheid government, etc. I know the stories of Kwame Nkrumah, the stories of Thomas Sankara, and the people of Burkina Faso, land of the upright man. I know my African history. I know my South African history. I know my heritage, my family heritage. I know where I fit in the Zulu nation and the Zulu kingdom. I know Itakazelo Sasekhaya, Omlojozi, Ntumbeza, Ntanzi. I know my family. I know my mother's side of the family, the matriarchs. My mom with her Indian Muslim or Arab Muslim father, Chota Hussein Amin, and her mother, Umaria, Utemba, Umamyaga. You know, I know her side of the family, the Amins, the Miagas. I know my father's mother's side of the family, Umamlaba. You know, Shupegi, Lucia, my grandfather, Umsongelwa, Timothy, Umlocho. I am so fully in tune with my identity, where I come from as a person. I understand the history of this nation. I understand the history of this continent. I understand the history of the world. I know so much more than you can fathom. So when you see me sitting with a guest asking questions, could be for many reasons. One of them could be, you are a guest. I would like you to tell the story, and I would like you to tell it from your perspective. That is the beauty of conversation and being brought onto a platform. I don't need to talk a lot on my own. I can, and I do. But at times I need the guest to do that. The guest may, in bringing a subject or a concept, they may spark a thought in my head. They may spark a question, or they may bring a different angle I've never even thought of. And that, again, is the beauty of conversation. So to assume that I struggle with Pan-Africanism, being pro-black, being black, the history of man, is indicative that you don't know me. It's probably indicative that you've never really watched my content in depth. And it just means you don't know much, and that's okay. I can't blame you. It's okay. It's fine. Dr. Umar touched on many different concepts. One of them was the explanation of Pan-Africanism, and I thought it was so beautiful. I thought it was beautiful because in the sit down with Dr. Umar, one of my takeouts was that we cannot unite with all black people. He didn't say it directly, but I took it to say black people are not the same. Some of the black people, especially the politicians, are not good black people. Some of them serve the white supremacist agenda. And the white supremacist agenda is basically saying white people are superior to other races and nations. And many white people, without realizing it, are ambassadors and defenders of white supremacy because they are happy for black people, Indians, coloreds, Asians, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Japanese. They are happy for those people to be empowered and uplifted. But as long as they never become equal to white or superior. Once you become equal or superior, all of a sudden they get very uncomfortable. And they find in various ways methods, tools, channels to oppress the rise of other nations outside of the white nation. And that's the white supremacist agenda. And there are many black leaders who serve this agenda that keeps white people at the top and keeps other races subservient. So he was saying Pan-Africanism is unique because it focuses on a certain level of principle and a way of living. And for me, Pan-Africanism can be put next to being an Afrikaner. If you study the Afrikaans nation and how it came about in South Africa, the amalgamation of the French, the Dutch, the German, coming in to create this new breed of people, a tribe, which Dr. Umar says he doesn't like as a term. And they set their own values and said, we are white, we are from Europe, but we are different and distinct. And they focused on that and they built through the Broederbond, through maybe the FRK, RTKV, various other institutions and spaces, their own cultural identity. You can put them with the Jewish people who have their own identity. The Pan-Africanist, in my opinion, from what I heard, is a specific type of black person, a specific type of African. Not all black people are Pan-African. And you don't see it in what they say, you see it in what they do. The people they are friends with, the people that fund their political parties or fund their businesses, the people who they give their money to, they spend their money with, the people whose schools they send their kids to, the neighborhoods they live in. Very, very key. I am not a Pan-Africanist, and I will never pretend to try and be a Pan-Africanist. I was on a Pan-African agenda at some point in my life. In the same way I was on a Christian agenda at some point in my life. I wanted to become the best Christian I can be. And in reading the Bible and speaking to pastors and doing my research, I decided to leave the religious group and no longer be Christian. Similarly with Pan-Africanism, I did the research. I met many supposed Pan-Africanists. I listened to the vision and I was like, I cannot be Pan-Africanist. In the same way I've left the Zulu kingdom and the Zulu nation, I have looked at the criteria to being Zulu. And I've realized I no longer want to be under the leadership of the king of the Zulus. I do not live on KwaZulu land. I do not live a Zulu life, and it is wrong for me to go around saying I'm Christian, I'm Zulu, I'm Pan-African, just because I'm black, just because I was baptized Roman Catholic, just because I was born in a Zulu nation and from a Zulu family. I have gone through that journey myself, and I am now created my own Penuelism, my own tribe, my own belief system, my own cultural group. And that's what Pan-Africanism is. Dr. Umar and many Pan-Africanists believe all Africans, all black Africans, need to at some point become Pan-Africanists. And that's fine, and that's beautiful, and that's their agenda, and that's the work they are working towards. In their agenda, they are not looking to hurt anyone. They are not looking to destroy anything. They are looking to build. They are looking to build the bodies of the African, to eat healthier food, to take more traditional medicines. They are looking to get the African to work harder, work the land, and build the land. They are looking to create economic institutions, economic spaces for the African to thrive. For me, this is exactly why I admire the Afrikaners, because when I listen to Pan-Africanism and I look at the Afrikaners, I'm like, these people have similar, very, very similar ideologies. The difference is these ones are black, these ones are white. That's it. But that's what I heard from Dr. Umar Johnson. And there are many fake Pan-Africanists, many fake pro-black people, some of your politicians, some of your business people who preach Pan-Africanism, black consciousness, pro-black, but they are lying. In the work they do, they are not honest. I'm not Pan-Africanist. Don't hold me to that level, to that standard. I'm not pro-black anymore. I'm a non-racialist. I'm a Penuelist. I believe in good people. You can be a Pan-Africanist. If you're good and doing good work, let's work. If you're an Afrikaans white person, if you're doing good work and you're a good person, let's work. If you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, Arab, Indian, if you are black and you're not even falling to any of these things, you're just a black coconut living your life, it doesn't matter. You can be Russian, you can be Chinese, you can be American, you can be Ukrainian, you can be British. If you are a good person doing good work to make the world a better place, that's what I believe in. And that's why I can sit with so many different people from so many diverse backgrounds. Because if they are doing good work, if they are good people, I can work with them. They should not necessarily work with me because of their ideologies. But they can come on my platform because it's a neutral platform where anyone can come and say whatever they want. Can be homophobic, xenophobic, Afrophobic, transphobic. It can be racist. It can be white supremacist. It can be whatever you want. It's fine. It's a neutral platform. I will challenge you. I have my thoughts. I will represent myself. I will represent Penuelism. I will represent people out there to hear some of your thoughts and to understand the different dimensions and dynamics of who you are. So that's very key for me. And for people out there, black people in particular, you guys are required moving forward to start scrutinizing and questioning, especially black people, much deeper. It cannot be that when you've got a leader who claims to be pro-black, you're done. That's it for you. You're like, oh, this is one of my people. Where is that leader getting their money from to fund the work they're doing? Where is that leader spending their money? Where does that leader live? Who does that leader work for? Where does that leader send their children to school? What language is that leader speaking? What clothing do they wear? What healthcare do they believe in? What is their spiritual belief system? How do they move? And when you look at the work they're doing, who are the biggest beneficiaries of the work that they are doing? Do that especially for black people and black leaders, black business owners. Then go and do that for Indians, Arabs, Coloreds, the Chinese, the Koreans. Do it for white people and scrutinize them. You'll come up with something very interesting in my experience, my personal experience. Some of the black people that you think are your leaders are almost doing everything to destroy and oppress you and keep you out from being uplifted and empowered. And some of the white, Indian, colored, whatever people are doing such amazing work, and it is helping you and your people thrive, giving you jobs, an opportunity to speak and to thrive, allowing you to take over their businesses, giving you the cheats and shortcuts to win in life, helping you to become healthy, giving you platforms, letting you marry and have children with their daughters, with their sons. Meanwhile, they are meant to be their enemy. So just be very, very careful. That's my first thing. He spoke about the black man and the black woman, which is a very sensitive topic, and it's one that I'm going to keep speaking about moving forward. The black man and the black woman need to find each other. Even if I have a white girlfriend, a colored girlfriend, a Chinese girlfriend, I need to find black women and say, let's work together. I am not the enemy. You are not the enemy. There are people who thrive on us fighting. There are people thriving on us fighting. Same as the race agenda. They want the races to fight because then it's easier to manage. It's like apartheid. The race agenda, the gender agenda, the sex agenda, the nationality agenda, those are all created so that we are divided and it is easier to control us. It is not by accident that black women are the most vocal about women empowerment and upliftment. It is not by accident that the black nation is struggling when other nations are not. It is intentional. And you've got a situation where black men have been so disempowered by some of their favorite black leaders that they don't see the destruction of the family. And we need to get our family back. You need to, if you have a black sister, biological sister, sit with her. I love you, Siswami. Thank you so much. Please move like this. She must be able to say that to you and hold you to account. You must protect and serve her. Your cousins, your female cousins, your girlfriend, your wife, other women in your space. We need to stop fighting with each other, but it's an agenda. He spoke about fertility and the agenda to attack the fertility of the woman, and in particular the black woman, through things like women empowerment. Because when the woman is at work, when she comes home stressed and tired, she doesn't want to have sex. She doesn't want to have children. It's going to hamper her career development. Other nations don't have that because their women have got a different set of duties. The African way of being, the women had their own work. We respected them. We were arguably a matriarchal society, but you made sure that we knew what we were doing and the men would go out and hunt, etc. The woman's testosterone is being attacked. The woman is being pushed to go and be a lesbian as an example, to say, stay away from men. Who needs a man anyways? I don't want to have children. My career is thriving. Oh, whatever. I can't afford a child. We live in Africa, a continent of abundance. We have everything and more to raise a child here. We have an abundance of land. We have an abundance of fruit and vegetables and wild animals and domesticated animals. We have got amazing sun and good weather. We have got all the materials to build our homes. And we've got ourselves, our bodies, which are strong, which can climb mountains, which can swim in rivers, which can build and create and nurture and sing and dance. But there's an agenda that has conditioned you to believe in the things that you believe in. And I think that's fundamentally important. Some of the comments were, of course, trying to attack me. I have 6 beautiful, intelligent... No, let me start here. Some of the comments, because I made an example about different grades of people. If you have children, if you're divorced, you go to a B, C grade. And then people were like, no, in your example, because I said, let's say divorced, 2 kids. They're like, yeah, you have 6 kids with 4 mothers, 4 different mothers. And I was like, you need to clarify. I have 6 beautiful, intelligent, athletic, amazing, dynamic children from 4 different, beautiful, intelligent, strong, independent, amazing women. You know, it is my life. It is my truth. I don't want anyone to copy my example. And at some point, I'll explain why most men should not copy my example, but it's my truth and my life. People try to bash me with information I've given them. No one has ever gone to dig and find out that I have 6 kids from 4 different mothers. They heard it from me. I told them. I told you. Being a paying member of AfriForum, you didn't dig that up somewhere. Didn't leak. I told you. You heard it from me. So when you bash me, it's lame and tired. Make children. If you're in good health, if you're intelligent, if you have means or have the ability to have means, if you have a good partner who is strong, independent, etc., make babies. We need more beautiful, strong, athletic, dynamic children. Because it's almost like the opposite. It's almost like the more successful people have few children, and then the poorest, struggling, least healthy people have the most children. It's like there's an agenda to multiply the lowest level of the species and to minimize the highest level so that you don't compete with the elite. It's kind of ridiculous. What am I missing? Let me see. So we spoke about some of those things, spoke about snow bunnies, of course, white women. That was our sit down. If I remember anything else, I'll raise it. Or maybe I'll make more videos if I think of certain things. maybe AfriForum, which was some of the comments that came out. I've made videos before, and you can go check them out if you search Penuel AfriForum. I've made videos explaining why I became a paying member of AfriForum. I am not in the leadership, in the executive of AfriForum. I am not a working member. I'm an ordinary donor. And the reason I'm a donor, I've explained before, is because of some of the work that AfriForum is doing. AfriForum is patrolling some of the borders where the ANC government has failed to build and maintain borders. They hold our government and other politicians to account for some of the corruption and the rubbish that's happening in this country. They go and they help communities, including black communities, get their land, get their right to be recognized as royalty. They have taught many communities, largely white Afrikaner communities, to do for self. One of the reasons I admire Orania, self-doen. And you've got communities where there are AfriForum members who volunteer for free to cut the grass, to maintain certain gardens, to close potholes. They've got a pothole team that closes potholes. They have their own neighborhood watch, and they fundraise. And they've worked in conjunction with Solidariteit, which is Solidarity, a trade union, a workers' union, to build a skills institution called Soltech. They built it ahead of schedule, and they built it under budget, which, funny enough, is kind of what Dr. Umar Ifatunde says when he's on the Breakfast Club with DJ Envy, Charlemagne the God, and Angela Yee. While they were trying to fix, build, renovate their school in America, a lot of the black contractors they use scam them. And this is not to say black people are bad. This is to say there are some bad black people. Maybe Dr. Umar's issue is they didn't vet that these people are Pan-Africanist according to him. He just found black people and said, let's use them. They let him down and he went for white contractors. And he says they worked and they delivered ahead of schedule. I don't remember if he said under budget, but ahead of schedule. These are people that are passionate about the work they do, and they do good work. And the guys at Soltech did that. It's an Afrikaans institution. It is not a white institution. It is Afrikaans. What that means is that the medium of teaching there is in Afrikaans. And black people get angry because it reminds them of June 1976 and the youth rising up against Afrikaans. They were rising up against Afrikaans, but they've never said anything about English. The British colonized us first here. You have an issue with an Afrikaans institution, but you have no issue with English institutions. Soltech welcomes black children, Indian children, colored children, as long as they are willing to be taught in Afrikaans, which is a language. They've built it with private money. It's not tax money from the government. Your black government has not built isiZulu, isiXhosa, Sepedi, Chivenda, Xitsonga, Sotho universities. All the black Forte, Walter Sisulu, University of Zulu, all the black institutions teach in English. They are English institutions. Soltech is not a white institution. It is an Afrikaans institution. These are the conversations we have. Small donors to say, let us invest in skills so people can work. People can become plumbers and electricians and mechanics and be able to farm and do construction work, which I think is fundamentally important. Those are the things I donate to. 100 Rand a month. It's not a lot. I am not, hey, stop supporting this guy's channel. Is going to take your money and give it to AfriForum. I make my 100 Rand maybe selling one copy of my book to a white customer in a month. I make my 100 Rand from a white customer somewhere booking an online consultation with me, or a few white people watching my channels or donating to my channels. 100 Rand. Then you need to look in the mirror now. One of the things that was very big on me, and I said this when I was live on the episode, people will bash me for being a paying member of AfriForum, who have also supported the Senzo Meyiwa family in the injustices of our black court system and our politicians. You'll bash me for being a paying member of AfriForum. By the way, I also donate to Gift of the Givers, which is an Islamic NPO with Imtiaz Suleiman, who's doing the Lord's work and Muhammad's work. Peace and blessings upon Prophet Muhammad. You know, doing amazing work in helping communities in South Africa and other places. I donate to Gift of the Givers. I donate to other spaces and I do charity work to help this country be better. While you're bashing me, what I was emphasizing was, You claim to be pro-black. You claim to be Pan-Africanist. But you've got three major weapons that you can use to prove that you are pro-black and Pan-African. Your vote. Are you voting for pro-black Pan-African political parties? The African National Congress, the ANC, is non-racial. They're not Pan-Africanist. The EFF, I'm not too sure, but you had the PAC, the Pan-Africanist Congress. You had Andile Mngxitama's Black First, Land First, the BLF. Are you voting for those guys who claim to be Pan-Africanist and pro-black? That's your vote. The second one is in your labor. Who do you work for? Are you working for a white, Indian, colored business and not a black, Pan-Africanist one? But Penuel, where are we going to excuses? A lot of the black people are number one with excuses, but they're quick to bash me. But they don't want to look in the mirror and see what they're doing that leads to their own oppression. The businesses you are working for, the owners of those businesses are investing in groups such as AfriForum, and they're investing and giving money to the worst political parties you hate. You might hate the DA, they fund them. You're watching DSTV, Mocha Love, Generations. You are funding, you must understand, DSTV is under MultiChoice. MultiChoice is under Naspers. Naspers is a big company that was built directly from the Broederbond, which was an Afrikaans agenda. So when you watch DSTV and MultiChoice, you are donating to an Afrikaans project. Oh, excuses, but what must we watch? But we are supporting the actors and come on, man. That means you're like me. You're non-racialist. Stop pretending to be pro-black because you're not. Your labor. Who are you working for? Because who you work for, you allow that person to use your labor and your ideas and your genius to make money for themselves so that they can go and give that money to whatever agenda they serve. If you're working for an Indian, Arab, Muslim, you best believe the profits are going to the mosque, they're going to the Islamic Relief Fund, and they're going to other Islamic initiatives. If you're supporting a white Afrikaans business, you work for ABSA, FNB, AFGRI, you work for Sanlam, these companies, you must understand that the profits that they make are probably going to, some Afrikaans agendas. They fund some of the schools, Afrikaans schools, they fund the rugby, etc. Understand that. That's your labor. You are not working for a business of a black person who is pro-black and Pan-Africanist, where the profits are going into the township. The profits are going to the villages. The profits are building black schools like Dr. Umar Ifatunde's Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Institute. You're not working for them and you've got excuses. They underpay. Black people they're not good employers. Excuses. Your number one thing. And then the last one, and arguably the most important one, is where you spend your money. Who you vote for, who you work for, who you buy from. You have a rand in South Africa. You might have a US dollar somewhere else. You have a rand, and every day you get to support an agenda. When you go into a Pakistani spaza shop, you are supporting a Muslim agenda because that Pakistani is probably Muslim. And he, all praise be to Allah, will go and donate to Muslim initiatives. Some people argue, they support terrorism. If they do, according to the Americans, who are the biggest terrorists on the planet, if they do, you are funding them. When you go and you spend money at McDonald's, KFC, when you buy Nikes, Air Jordans, you are supporting America and the American agenda. So if you hear that America bombed Somalia, that was some of your money, boy. When you hear that Twitter and Facebook are doing, you are supporting their agenda. That's why they want to bully Cyril and Naledi Pandor and tell South Africans we must pick a side between Russia and Ukraine. Because they're like, these guys eat our burgers, they eat our chicken. These guys drive our cars, our Fords. They use our Apples, our iPhones. They on our Twitter, they're on our Facebook. They're using our Google, they're here on our YouTube. And they have the audacity to say they won't pick between Russia and Ukraine. Nah. Every day you're spending money towards that. You refuse to buy from local South African businesses. They're too expensive. Excuses. When you buy from black Nigerians, as an example, as a South African, that money will probably go to Nigeria. When you buy from China Mall, China, so cheap. You are supporting a Chinese agenda. You are creating jobs in China. When you buy from a South African, black, white, colored, Indian, doesn't matter, you are investing in South Africa. And you need to hold those business owners to account and tell them, don't spend your money overseas. These tenderpreneurs that make profits and then go spend it in Dubai. They make money, then they go to Santorini in Greece. They go visit Hong Kong. They go visit America and Miami. Who you vote for, who you work for, who you spend your money with. Me, I vote for who I think is a good person trying to build a better country that will hold the ANC and their corruption and their funders to account. I don't care about race, gender, nationality. You can be Mcebo Dlamini from Eswatini and you can run for this country. And if I feel you are doing amazing work in trying to fix this country, I'll vote for you. Who do I work for? I work, if you look at what I'm doing now, this is education. My education is not for black South Africans in the township of Ematadeni or Sizweni. My education speaks to South Africans and people that are trying to do good. Every day I bump into Indian people who have seen my content on TikTok, on YouTube. Keep it up. We like your work. Thank you so much. I bump into coloreds. Hey, my brother, thank you so much for the work. We appreciate. Thank you so much. I'm bumping into white Afrikaans, old people. Yes, you see on TikTok. Like, can your videos, man? And you're like, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. So my education is working for the betterment of the country. Carrying on with the work, which I didn't understand for the longest time, of Nelson Mandela. Carrying on with some of the work that people like Siamtanda Kolis is doing. Saying we have one South Africa. This country is our Springbok team. And we all need to pull our weight. And we need to tackle. And we need to pass. And we need to run hard so that we can beat other nations. If we claim to be a nation, if we claim to be a continent, how do we become a Springbok continent and say, let's come together and battle other continents so we can win? That's who I work for. Some of the people that are my paying members, some of the people that donate to me. You're not going to dictate to me what I say and what I do. Nah, you already know my agenda. Penuelism. I'm here for good people. But for you guys, I thank you. You guys pay me. By watching videos, you pay me because YouTube sells ads, and then that's who I work for. I work for the betterment of society as a whole. And then who do I spend my money with? I spend my money with companies that I believe are doing good work. DSTV Multi-Choice creates opportunities for people like my friends at Tribal Media House, a 100% black-owned production company, to be able to then flight their shows there and tell black African stories. DSTV Multi-Choice that has empowered so many communities, in particular black communities, so that kids can become film producers, filmmakers. Some of the money you send to Multi-Choice, they get to have soccer leagues so that certain kids can become athletes. I spend my money with the rugby spaces. If you look at the work that Francois Pinard has done with Varsity Sports along with his partners, and shout out to my mates Bapiu Mfundisi and Cameron Peverett who were working there. Varsity Sports, it wasn't just rugby. It was the netball, it was the hockey, it was the soccer. And they worked with sponsors, Steers, FNB, Steinhoff, and others to make sure that the kids get a bit of money, they get scholarships to study at university for free so they can have a skill, hopefully later on, and opportunities. I'm willing to spend my money there. These people are doing good. I've got friends who are playing Varsity Cup. When I buy a Wacky Wednesday at Steers, I know some of my money trickles down to my mates. I bank at FNB because I look at the innovation. Shout out to Michael Jordan, one of the greatest business minds in the country. Look at the work that FNB, First National Bank, has done in the country. Very pro-South African. That's who I spend my money with. So who I vote for, who I work for, who I spend my money with is in line with my beliefs as a Penuelist, as a non-racialist, as non-gender. To say, I will find good people. And if the Pakistani spaza shop owner, number one, he's the cheapest. And number two, if he's going to donate to the church and the soccer team in the neighborhood, by all means. If Itaima that owns the Shisanyama and the car wash takes some of his money and he makes sure that he supports local sports, local development, he donates maybe food parcels to the guys who run the neighborhood watch, that's the business that you support. And that's the mindset that South Africans need to have. Making sure that you understand, and I think that's fundamentally important. So you can judge and bash me, but I'm very clear about where I stand. And if you claim to stand for something, You need to introspect and evaluate yourself and figure out if you're actually genuine or if you're talking rubbish. This video is about 40 minutes long now, and I think I should shut it down and maybe do a part 2. I think I will do a part 2. Speaking about some of the things that Dr. Umar Ifatunde raised in Davidton. Some of the major things I agree with, some of the things that I disagree with, and I'll explain why. Maybe let me close the video here. I need to mention the elephant in the room, DJ Sbu. Sbu Siso Liope, my big brother. I've not had a conversation with DJ Sbu around why he decided to not be one of the panel speakers when Dr. Umar was here. He made a video, he gave his stance. Mam Zanele Ntuli spoke to me and explained that, Penuel, we don't have a budget. Sbu wanted money, we don't have a budget. And when I saw Sbu's video and I listened to Mam Zanele Ntuli, the first thing I thought in my head is this was a communication issue, I think. I think if maybe they had sat and spoken and explained we don't have a budget, maybe we can. One of Sbu's issues was they want to pay me with an interview for Dr. Umar. I felt disrespected. And he was meant to explain to them, I feel disrespected, guys, and this is why. I'm DJ Sbu. I've been in the industry for 2-3 decades. I've built up a brand for myself. I don't think it is fair for you to say you'll pay me with an interview. I don't need to be paid with an interview. Maybe we can find another way. Maybe Dr. Umar and I can collaborate on something. Maybe he can come through to the SLEF, Sbusiso Liope Educational Fund or Foundation, and do some work there. Maybe if you guys charge money, because initially it was $350 to get in, and I think $1,500 for VIPs. And then when there were issues with the city of Joburg, and it was moved to Oasis Life or Living or Bible Church in Davidton, Yabapus Tole, it was free. Maybe Sbu could have said, look, if you want to charge money, and if you guys make enough to recoup the cost of bringing Dr. Umar here, please can you share some money with me? Because I'm also a brand. I'm DJ Sbu. I'm going to bring just myself, never mind Dr. Umar. I can fill up the hole by myself and have a conversation. I think there was a communication issue, and it's one of the learnings for many of us to talk. I haven't spoken to Sbu about it because he made the video. He said his piece. And because I was not involved in the discussion between the two groups, it was not for me to mediate. I was asked to please come and speak. I came through to speak. And Umam Zanele Ntuli said, look, we can get Dr. Umar to come to your platform. And I was very thankful. Again, I think you guys, in whatever way in the universe, wanted this to happen, and it's happened. And I'm very appreciative, and I thank you. To date, many people speak about my sit down, 2 hours with Uvusi Tembekwayo, which was absolutely amazing. There are so many other conversations on the Penuel show. I hope you'll get to watch at some point. Sfiso Madondo, Siabulela Nqanqa, Usiso Mandisa Mashego, Miles Berger, Bapusha's there, my brother, the sit downs with Penson Mlocho himself, Miranda Changase, Sizwe Dube, so many amazing conversations that I hope you'll still uncover. Of course, Rutendo Matinyarare, Rob Hersoff, one of my first guests, Ntlantla Lax, amazing people. And I'm still going to be bringing even more amazing people from all walks of life. Because I'm a Penuelist. And that's who I am, and that's what I stand for. We have to speak about money. I, as a Penuelist, understand when there is no money, bartering, exchange. Maybe Sbu felt the sit down was not a fair exchange. And like I said, he could have negotiated for something else, which could have been discussed maybe. Maybe we could have fundraised. We were like, look, guys, there isn't money for this thing. So to get speakers like DJ Sbu to come through, we'd like to do a Kickstarter, crowdfund. Please donate here so we can get DJ Sbu. If you guys want someone else, there's amazing Black conscious Pan-Africanists in South Africa. You've got people like Dr. Lwazi Lushaba from UCT. You've got people like Uputu Velapi, Uveli Mpele, Uputu Veli Mpele is amazing. Someone like Andile Mngitama would be amazing for the conversation. Rutendo Matinyarare was there. You could have gotten someone like Joshua Maponga to come through as well. Amazing people. Nsigi Mazwai, Uputi, Urutboy Paul Mnisi, Koko Dineo, and some of these other people. We've got a situation with, this is my personal experience, and I'm not going to mention any names. We've got a situation with some of our celebrities in South Africa. Maybe I can include DJ Sbu because you guys might feel like it's a jab. It's not. But I could include them where You've got some of our celebrities who say they are pro-black, say they are black conscious, pan-African, but they do consider the money aspect more than just the agenda at play. And that becomes sad because there are certain guests I've tried to bring on and they will say they are not coming through to the platform. Understandably, I'm Penuel, I'm unknown, it's fine. And they will not cite that, they will cite something else, like maybe they don't want to be in the spotlight, etc. And then I see them on other platforms where I know they were paid well on TV, and I realize I think it's a money thing. And I understand we're struggling with money, money gets us resources, etc. But there are times, I was not paid, by the way, to be a panel speaker. I think that's important to say. I was not paid. I was not paid to bring Dr. Umar Ifatunde on the panel show. I hope it does good views because then at least we'll get some money from YouTube where I can carry on doing amazing work. Sometimes you have to weigh up and maybe engage with your people. If I have fans, if I have an audience, people that I respect, some of the people close to me, some of the people, what do you guys think? I've been invited by these people to do this. They're not paying me. They want to. Do you think it's disrespectful? Do you think I should go? Can run a poll on Twitter. Guys, do you think I should speak? And maybe let people decide. And like, if my issue is money, are you guys willing to fund? Maybe we can do that. I don't know. It's a conversation. We need to have more conversations with each other and understand each other's struggles and plights and understand each other's visions and what we're trying to achieve. I'm sad that DJ Sbu did not get a chance, I don't think he got a chance to sit down with Dr. Umar Ifatunde on the Hustlers Corner. I think that would have been very dope. I would have looked forward to listening to it. If you look at the conversation I had with DJ Sbu, with Joshua Maponga on the Hustlers Corner, so dope. If you look at the conversation DJ Sbu's had with Joshua Maponga on his own on the Hustlers Corner, so dope. I've said to them, Joshua Maponga is my father. I've said to them many times, at some point, he has to come to the Penuel show. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm not stressed. He will come. There are many other people that still have to come. There are so many other people we need to sit with. Black people, local and from abroad. White people from local and abroad. Indian people in this country. You know, there are amazing Indian people in this country. Arab people in this country. There are so many colored people. Never mind Gaten McKenzie. So many amazing colored people that still need to have their stories told on platforms that I'm hoping that we can bring so that they can tell their stories. And we are going to build, or at least I will try to build a Springbok nation of South Africa, and to build a Springbok African nation, and to maybe build a more united world. Not united in the sense, but united in the let's do good with each other. Let us stop harming nature. Let us stop destroying civilization. Let us stop killing and raping each other. Let us stop oppressing and beating our women. And the women must stop hurting men. Verbal abuse to a man is no different to slapping or punching a man. And a lot of women don't know this. When you slap him, when you swear at him, when you speak down on his manhood and you say he's got a small dick and fuck him, yeah, your mom is a bitch, that is the equivalent of slapping and punching a man. And many men have not been trained to be able to fight back verbally. So they do it physically. And then they hurt you. And you don't take accountability for provoking them. These are the conversations we need to have. How do we say less harmful things to each other? And how do we get our men to stop wanting to beat the women and to take out their frustrations because they were conquered and colonized, because they can't fight these other nations? They take out their frustrations on their women. And how do we make sure that black men and women trade with each other, support each other? You've got money, you've got labor, you've got a vote. Why are you not voting for, working for, buying from these people so that they can win together? So I think that's fundamentally important. I'm going to close it here for now. Penuel the black pen, Penuel the swart pen, Penuel the pen elimnyama. I'm going to be catching up with you guys again soon. Again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can sit down with Dr. Umar Ifatunde. I can sit down with Umam Zanele Ntuli. I can sit down with Uputu Kukuqaba. I can sit down with DJ Sbu. I can sit down with so many people. We can film content. We can sit with amazing production crews with great equipment. But without you guys watching as an audience, we're doing nothing. Without an audience, we are nothing. So to each and every one of you who watch the episode, who will watch the episode, who support our work, we appreciate you. And I hope that you will take the education, the inspiration, internalize it, process it, hold yourself accountable, look in the mirror and be like, how can I be part of the solution? How can I fix the issues we have? How do I end load shedding? How do I fix the potholes? How do I become part of Neighborhood Watch? How do I start my own community garden, vegetable garden? How do I get involved in the church, in the schools? How do I hold politicians accountable or create my own political party? How do I lead? How do I love my woman? How do I love my man better? How do I become a better, more intentional parent so that we can build a better society together as people? That's what I believe in. That's what I stand for. Love you guys. I'll catch up with you guys again soon. Penuel the Black Pen. Dr. Umar Ifatunde, I love you. Blessings to you and the work that you're doing, to yourself, to all Pan-Africanists who are on a vision and an agenda and a mission that many of our ancestors and our forefathers died for, were killed for, to this day are being oppressed for. We support and will support wherever we can. And I hope in South Africa there can be a base for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Institute, where we not only have these old religious schools, the Saint Banbanis, we don't only have the Afrikaans schools, but we also have Pan-African schools, which can help. We've got Islamic schools now on the rise, and shout out to the Muslim community. Let's build a better world. I'm out.